What's going on, everyone? I hope you're well and doing great. Making new all-time highs, that's a honeymoon morning when Bitcoin's making new all-time highs. Lots of honeymoon mornings over here in 2021, but it's also now because of CTM 2.0, because of what we've done since March in the last few months during this massive bear market building. Now, because of that, CTM 2.0, it allows it for it to be a honeymoon morning quite often. And coming off the last couple of weeks, by the way, you're looking over here at the crypto total market cap. It's just another reminder that Bitcoin is the rising tide that lifts all boats. When that tide is rising, you're going to see all coins pump it off. Do you notice today that you're seeing a lot of that? I can see that from Fire's watch list. Let me come back over here. You can see now we're having all 22 and 70 periods across multiple altcoins turning green. You can also see it through the Bitcoin dominance today. That looks like it is continuing to consolidate sideways in a very strong downtrend. Today is a day that you should rightfully so get to enjoy all of the hard work that has been put in. It is not a time to FOMO. I love the discussion jumping online today with y'all and y'all talking about, hey, I kind of like went outside the system. I moved my stop loss to break even. I got stopped out. Listen, that's okay because I know that going forward, I'm going to follow the plan and that's what's to do. And just regrouping right now without a sense of FOMO or prices getting away, because it's not. The market's always going to be there and there's always going to be opportunity. You're seeing that opportunity on both sides. Ever since that tight consolidation in the month of May, right, led to that big breakdown, CTM 2.0, there to capitalize. And then you had another tricky, looks like bear flag consolidation, this strong downtrend. And then you had a hot CPI given every reason for a breakdown and a retest of the yearly lows. And that's not what happened. And because you didn't have to think about it, and because you don't have to like guess about it, CTM on both Ethereum and Bitcoin able to position long and so far capitalize on this move. And we don't know what happens from here. When I say we don't know what happens from here, by the way, you're looking at on the daily time frame, still a very strong bearish move that's taking place over here. On the 8-hour, it is still very strong downtrend taking place over here. It is possible that between now, this is a big day that, or it should be. Oftentimes when you think about it being such a big day, I guess like all market participants are kind of focused on that day as well. And it's not really such a big deal that this could be one of those occasions. The market seems like the market front runs everything these days. If all the work that we've done over the past few weeks, going back to the middle of June, we started talking about things, watching things that we're looking to take form, to take shape, including watching what yields we're doing. And I want to talk about the rising oil price today. So let me just revert back. And we had the two attempts here on the DXY breaking down sell impulse. The second one is active. The second one has come into the conservative line of breakdown. That is a place over here. If you would take a little bit of profit, CTM 1.0, 10-15% off, move the stop loss to break even. And now you just completely hold until there's a new buy impulse. A new buy impulse, which is not even currently set up yet. It's not even on the board right now. That would lead towards an opportunity flip black long as the DXY is in this super, super strong uptrend. 8-hour swing traders time frame, position traders time frame on the daily. We're just seeing nothing more than a sell impulse take place. I mean, we're on it, we're tracking it, whether or not it goes further. I think that if we start seeing any more follow through down, and remember we were looking right around 105 as an area of interest, if we're able to break down further through that conservative line of repair, that might give the ability for equity markets, for Bitcoin crypto to kind of take a bit of a breather. You can see gold is doing it as well today, finally even posting in the green. But we have the FOMC on the 27th. We could see the front running begin, and that's happening right now. And the markets know that the Fed is going to hike rates and that might be their last hike. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if September is going to be their last hike, or I don't know if they're going to hike through the rest of the year. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that if they don't, if the markets does not price in this month being the last rate hike, I think there's a strong chance that occurs in September. Maybe November is the pause, but the market in my opinion, will price it in before the Fed actually gives the verbal confirmation that it's pausing. Is that happening right now? Is the market kind of front running what's going to happen in July, which is expected to be a rate hike, probably 75 basis points? And if that happens, will the market say, "Oh, well, that's the last"? I don't know. I go back and I look at things like oil and oil, why it continues to break down when we view this off the weekly time frame. And I just really want to say at the right time, we focused over to the right area during the summer of June. And now we're seeing potentially the next CPI print being the one where that data shows up, and it could be coming off, and it could be the start of a near-term trend. We don't know if that's going to happen. And why I say that is if we get a breakout to the upside, we got some resistance above us over here coming in around 106, between 105.5 and 106 this week. And then we also have this line of repair that needs to be made, a confluence of resistance. If we get above that, oil could start running, and it could start running hard again. We might see inflationary pressures pop up that are just uncontrollable. The Fed raising rates is not going to stop these things. These are supply side issues. And if that's happening, the Fed may realize, you know what, we've gone as far as we could go. We really can't do anything else to kind of slow things down. And if we do that, we're going to actually destroy something. It looks like that's what's potentially happening. It looks like that's what the market could be beginning to price in. But don't take anything for granted. We are coming towards the 27th is that big day, and you don't know what the market's reaction could be. The market's reaction could actually send this down, wherever that ends up, I don't know. But we continue to be in a strong downtrend, and we continue to have a very bearish posture to it. Now, that's changing, and I know that we're long, so I could talk about it from this perspective. But don't be surprised if you see somewhere along that area, price then roll back. I mean, we'll get short, but there's a change. Let me talk about it. You can see over here following Bitcoin, obviously following after Ethereum. Ethereum taking the long first. That's holding up, and it's beautiful. Ethereum, Bitcoin following through. You can see on the short sides though, so you can see that these are both potentially about to flip positive. That would be a new development. It's been quite a while. It's been ever since April, and same thing on Ethereum, going back all the way to May. That would be a new development, and say that, you know what, potentially this uptrend, it might have a little bit of follow through to it. It's kind of funny. I think Vidier said it last week, and he's like, look, it kind of makes TA obsolete. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to guess. I know when to be in the market, where to be in the market, and that, that's the truth of it. But at the same time, it's all fascinating to continue to put all the pieces of how the market works together, and continue to see if we're able to have our thumb on the pulse of the market so much that we're able to stay on the right side and ahead of time, and not only see things happening ahead of time, but then in real time get the timing down. That's what we're striving for. That's what I'm trying to put together here this morning. I want to take a look at equity markets. You can see the NASDAQ coming towards the top end of the resistance right now. Highlighted in yellow is this sideways channel that we are currently in. NASDAQ coming into resistance this morning, clear above it. And then I think that, we're looking at 13,000, a psychological round number. Probably there's a strong chance that price could be attracted to there. Whether or not, look, it's only Monday. Let's see if the markets could hold gains past the weekend throughout today's session, and then through turnaround Tuesday before we see any type of let's say hope that this could extend further. Right now we're into resistance on the NASDAQ, S&P 500 in a similar situation. You can see that it's towards the top half of that resistance. It looks like it's trying to confirm it now into support. The thing that the market has going with it was the sell impulse taking place on the DXY, and that is right now into support. As that's finding support, you're seeing equity markets finding resistance. And then Bitcoin actually broke out of this line of repair and is now breakout coming in for that retest. And then, if you look here, now, you can see also where my mouse is right now, there's also that little bit of light area of resistance that price on the breakout has come into, now coming in for the retest. We'll see what happens on the retest. Again, the beauty of it is if price does not hold, if price rolls over, that these trades will be exiting and that it will be pretty soon for short trades to be picked up. And regardless of what happens outside of this consolidation over here, I think that we will be and continue to be in a good place to profit from it. Today's a really good day to, first of all, make a resolution of commitment that you're going to do whatever needs to be done and make sure that you are executing. Good time to get really conscious about how mentally and emotionally dependent you are on external sources versus a more calm inner stance. That's wisdom right there, right, Dave? That's beautiful. Oh, thank you, Michael. That's the perfect place to go and where I do want to go. Let's just keep it simple off the top of that wick over there. But that since then, that's where we've had it. A close above, that would set off the potential here, 10-year bonds being sold. And that would make sense. That would make sense with a rate hike or expected rate hike now having the full clear as that hot CPI print came in. It gives the Fed, like the market expects the Fed to come in and to come in potentially with a strong 75 basis point rate hike. Why is the 10-year not rising further on that? Is the 10-year looking out? I mean, well, it's indecisive. I think that's a really good way to say it. And we are consolidating right now on the 10-year. I think that this line over here, that yellow line I just drew, that would be a good idea of when there's going to be any further follow through to the downside. Right now, we'll look at that to hold that support above this trend on the upside. Positionally flip back over here, but we are in an area of chop, of sideways, and I don't know how much longer that could last. If we do indeed or are seeing whenever it is, when I've looked back at there's only one other past cycle to look back at quantitative tightening running, and when it did, I saw that yields peaked. Now, is that something that's setting up similarly once again over here, just as QT begins? Are we seeing yields potentially peak? I don't know, but it took a little time, and then they rolled over. So I'm watching for that kind of behavior. I think that one thing that I just want to throw out there is as I'm watching the prices today, oil, 10-year, they are pointing to that we may see continued hot inflation. Yeah. And when I talk about hot, I'm talking 8.5% and above. That's really hot. And I don't know if that would prevent the Fed from having to pause and pivot or not. It seems to me they can only hike so far to the top without there being some type of direct consequences in the credit markets. That's what we're watching for. It's too soon to tell. And even though we have seen, and I think that we did a phenomenal job in watching the 10-year and watching oil at coming off its peaks and calling it from their peaks, that could change in an instant. It could change this week. And I'm just going to put this yellow line over here. A break above that would signal to me that we are seeing oil getting ready here for a run, probably somewhere towards 120 and above. And at the same time, this area is resistance, right? Breaking above it, that would just say that we get a test at that line right above it. Let me just leave it like that and take this one off. And it's going to leave the most important one on, the one from above. So I wonder if we were to see everyone's pretty clear, first of all, that in a matter of weeks, this could be drastically different than what we're experiencing today. And price could be taking out the 17,500 lows and making new yearly lows. And that could happen quite realistically. But if we do see any type of, let's just say, base case as we've been forming it, and that is variable, that might change over the next 3 or 4 weeks, or even before then, after the FOMC, depending on what new information is introduced to the markets. We've been watching things like the 10-year to see that if that's feeling out any type of interim top. We've been watching things like oil and commodities. We've been watching things like the dollar. And we continue to watch, most importantly, trading what's happening. But if we were to see some type of extension of a bear market rally, I wonder what the narrative will be. I wonder what most people's feelings will be. When I say feelings, I mean, will they think that this is something that's going to extend far out, and, whether or not it's to new all-time highs, and for how long? Are we going to be hearing talks of things like melt up and things like that? Or most people are going to be thinking, you know what, 2023 is going to be really, really tough. I'm just making a note of something I'm interested to see people's reactions further out.